destroys magnetic charm.
Well, welcome along to this interview on Kranji Racing TV. And for those with slightly longer memories, perhaps, or at least 12 months, you have to go back. Singapore had their very first runner at the Royal Meeting. Today is the last day of Royal ASCOT 2020, and I'm pleased to say that Stephen Gray has joined me on the line. And well, he was the man who trained Singapore's very first runner at the Royal Meeting. Stephen, how are you? And I imagine you're looking ahead to today with fond memories, given what happened 12 months ago.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us on. No, it was great. We were just talking about the day because, you know, we've been in lockdown here for a couple of months, and it just brought back memories when we were over there, and it was a great experience and a dream and an ambition to go back one day and have a horse good enough from here to take to a place like ASCOT, and to be asked to go and represent Singapore and ourselves and Mr. Lim was probably one of our highlights of our time here in Singapore.
And Steve, I mean, Steve, we know plenty about the horse here in Singapore, as we know how good he is here, and obviously just touching upon the fact he's won a couple of Lion City Cups and EW Barker, he's a very good horse. But I mean, the main basis for this chat here between us today is the fact that obviously, you know, Royal ASCOT and your adventure, as it were, and your trip with him to England. Take us back to the start of when that plan was hatched. I mean, Mr. Lim, a very sporting owner, his racing manager Mick Dittman, obviously people that are always willing to take a bit of a chance and have a bit of a crack. And when did you first think, in your mind, this could be the horse we could go to Royal ASCOT with?
Yeah, fair enough, Nick. Well, actually, like he went to Hong Kong, you know, several months before that, and really went well, and was a bit unlucky. And then he came back here, and you know, was pretty stiff in his first only 2 runs here. Ran second both times. His first run he probably should have won. It was poorly ridden. And then his next time, I think he wasn't at his best, and he got clipped in a line by probably the only horse that could beat him. So we were looking what's for him here in Singapore, and there wasn't a lot. And just mentioned ASCOT, we were asked to go, invited, and I put it to Mr. Lim and Mick Dittman as racing manager, and they thought, well, why not go and have a crack, you know? And that's where it started from there. So we planned them to go. And to be fair to Mr. Lim, I give him great credit for giving us that opportunity. And I've known Mr. Lim for many years, and he's a terrific man and loves his horses. And he said he's always, you know, wanted the horse good enough to take overseas. And that's how it hatched, really. So we planned to go, and everything went well.
It certainly did. Obviously, then for those that don't know, the logistics of getting the horse there, not an easy task. But you did go a few years earlier with Emperor Max. So you certainly had a good idea as to what was involved. You employed the excellent Lisa O'Shea, who took the horse along with your son James. From a family and a personal point of view, speaking on behalf of James, how big a thrill was that for your son? I imagine, you know, he might not ever get a chance to do that again, and that was huge, I imagine.
Yes, we took our family. James and Katie and Bridget all went along, and I sent James earlier on the plane with the horse with Lisa. And Lisa now is my head girl. She works for us and continued from there. So that was a great experience for him. James is about to go, he's in the army now. That was just before he had to go national service, and he's now made the officer school, which is great. But that trip was very good for him because it got him to see another side of the industry, which they find hard to see here, Nick, because you know they can't go racing.
Sure. And
James loves his horses. He loves his. He was a good show jump rider and pony club rider and that, and he still loves his horses now. So from that point of view, it was a great experience for us. And as I said to you, being very honest, it was. We were very grateful to have that opportunity given to us to take a horse like him to Royal ASCOT and compete and be involved in that. And that's what you do it for, as far as I'm concerned anyway. That's what I've always aimed to do, get a horse good enough to take overseas. You know, we had Emperor Max, was an extremely good horse that went over the Crypto Sprint World Series, and he ran 5th. Went great, and then we brought him home. And then we had this guy to take over as well. So the whole idea was to have a longer term you know, after I learnt last time, you either got to go and come home, or you got to go with an idea of having 2 or 3 runs. And I think with Cruiser, that was always the ambition to get to Goodwood, but unfortunately it all went wrong the last minute. So, you know, we didn't go there just for the sake of it. We went because we were competitive, and I think he proved himself in the 2 races he was there. He was up to it.
He certainly did. Just having a look in front of me, actually, the results of 8th at Royal Ascot. I mean, I've watched the replay numerous times, and you know, the fact that he's got some very good horses behind him, and those in front of him are very good as well. It was an excellent run. Then 6th in the race at Newmarket. How did the training differ, Steve, in England compared to Singapore? Obviously, very different climates, very different places. Did you have to change much in the way to his work, sort of thing? I know that Vlad was there, so you had your jockey riding him in his track work always.
Yeah, I didn't change anything. You know, when I talk Emperor Max, I rang Peter Moody and talked to him about it, and he said, don't get involved in the way they do things there. Just keep them sharp, because we only arrived 2 weeks before. So I kept him to himself a little bit, and just used this. I didn't use any hill tracks. But if I did it again, I'd probably go earlier and get him more involved in that type of thing, you know, earlier. Oh. But, you know, unfortunately from here, you haven't got the time to do that, Nick, you know what I mean? I didn't change a lot from what I did here, just kept him sharp. He didn't settle the first week there, to be honest. Which surprised me, because he was very good in Hong Kong. I think the open spaces and the open boxes got to him a little bit. It took him a week to settle in, and I couldn't do a lot with him, and then I missed the gallop, and I think he was a bit underdone as he, you know, what he could have been for that race. And yeah, so I sort of learned last time I was there not to change anything, so I just stuck to my guns, and it worked, and he raced very well.